What's up, guys? Happy Sunday night. And how are we going to talk about this one? How are we going to talk about this one? Well, first of all, the Seahawks won 35-30. We can all be grateful for that. So let's start off with that right then and there. It's not easy to get wins in this league. It's not easy to beat a Belichick coach team. It's not easy to nothing's easy in this league. And I appreciate going to 2-0. I appreciate the dub. Oh, and by the way, I also kind of appreciate the fact that my shirt has the same green tinge as my green screen. So check this out. My shirt is part of the green screen. I don't know. I think that's kind of cool. I'm going to try to use that later for something. But guys, we saw the best of the Seahawks tonight, and we saw the worst of the Seahawks tonight. And unfortunately, my conclusion after watching this game is that this team doesn't really, at least in this game, have all that much different from what we saw last year in most of the games we played. Because I'll just go ahead and say this. This win, you can thank Russell Wilson and the wide receivers and the running backs for this one. Point blank, period. Those guys are the only guys on this team other than maybe one or two players on defense, and I'm talking about one or two players on defense that you can even give any credit because, okay, starting with the positive, Russell Wilson, that was one of the best games he ever played. The pick six was completely not on him. Anybody watching that game knows that. Hit two beautiful deep balls, one to Metcalf, one to David Moore. Just incredible throws, superhuman stuff. He had another beautiful deep throw to Carson for the 18-yard touchdown on the wheel route-ish kind of play. Just masterful stuff from Wilson for most of this game. The man has 7 incomplete passes. The dude has almost as many touchdown passes as incomplete passes through 2 games. That does not happen very often, guys. This is some MVP type shit he's putting together. And if he doesn't get it this year, I don't know what it's going to take. So yeah, Wilson, this was a game where he flat out put the team on his back. And I think he overcame the defense. I think in part he overcame his offensive line. You could also say he overcame his tight ends. We're going to get to that in a second here. Overcame the coaching staff in part. This game took me right back to the kind of stuff we saw last year where Russell Wilson would have to be Superman for us to win games. And for Russell Wilson to throw 5 touchdowns and account for 330 yards of offense almost, and only have 7 incomplete passes, and for us to win this game by a yard, we're kind of back to the stuff I saw last year, where I just kind of felt bad for the dude. He had to be perfect just to give us a chance to win. He had to do everything to give us a chance to win. This was not like last week. Last week, I thought the team played really well for the most part, and Wilson was our best player, but Wilson was part of a team that I thought played really well last week. I cannot say that this week. Metcalf, awesome game against the Defensive Player of the Year, reigning DPOTY. Almost 100 yards, mossed him. And by the way, I had multiple people in my chat and stream this week saying, I feel like DK is going to moss Gilmore. He pretty much did. So Metcalf, Lockett, another very good game for him. He made several big plays. David Moore, I might have to shelf the complaints about the way in which we use David Moore in this offense because that was one hell of a catch that I did not think he made at first. Carlos Hyde and Chris Carson, solid work from those two guys, no complaints. Freddie Swain only got on the field a little bit, but he made an impact. And other than that, this team, we saw sloppiness. We saw obvious, clear mistakes. Where do we start? Greg Olsen, and by the way, Greg Olsen, I know you love Cam Newton, but you don't need to be basically playing yourself out of the game just because Cam Newton's on the other sideline. I get he's your boy, but you don't need to be spotting the other team a pick six with a ball right in your hands, and you don't need to be picking up a false start. You are a longtime NFL veteran. That's not the stuff we need. We had the penalties, the first half especially, but really the whole game. We had 7 penalties at half. We had 3 false starts at home with no crowd. We had holding calls, and I'll give you a little bit of this. I'll give it a little bit to you. I don't look. Jerron Reed gets held all the time and never gets a flag, so some of that is not entirely fair, but a lot of them were fair. So 9 penalties. Obviously, we smoothed it out a little bit in that second half. First half was as sloppy as it comes. We botched the end of the half sequence where we could have scored and left no time for New England. Instead, we're punting the ball. I saw the play calls that I don't like, and this is where this game frustrated me. Running the ball on 1st and 20, running the ball on 2nd and 12. I know that play picked up 9 yards. I don't care. It still resulted in a punt. Running the ball on 3rd and 18. This is the stuff that I don't want to see from this team. We had a 3rd and long late in the second quarter today. We threw a pass to Lockett, fell incomplete. We drew a penalty. We drew the first penalty of the game against the Patriots on that play. We got the first down. That's the kind, by the way, I'm sorry, guys, my voice after that game, it's gone a little bit, but that's the kind of stuff that happens when you go for it. That stuff doesn't happen if you give the ball on a draw to Travis Homer, and that happened like 2 or 3 times today. So after 1 week of me really being positive, giving a lot of positive feedback to this play calling, once again, we're back to the stuff that kills drives. Running on 1st and 20, running on 2nd and long, running on 3rd and long. Punting the ball on 4th and 5 at the 45-yard line, inside the 45-yard line. New England went for their 4th and short in the first half, and they got a touchdown out of it. We faced 4th and 5 inside New England territory. We're punting the ball, and I know it was a pretty good punt, and I know we got the ball back not too long after, but that's not the point. The point is we're back to the stuff I saw last year that I didn't like, that I thought was holding this team back. So after 1 week, we're close to being back at ground zero. I didn't think the game plan today overall was terrible. Don't get me wrong. I thought Schottenheimer did some good stuff. We put up 430 yards. We put up 5 touchdowns. We moved the ball. We had the one fluky turnover. Greg Olsen will probably not have a drop that bad for the rest of his career. His career is not going to be much longer, but we had the ejection of Quandre Diggs, which hurt us today. I'm not going to. That hurt. That was part of the reason why we struggled as this game went on. Marquise Blair went down, and that guy does not look like he's going to be back anytime soon. So prayers up for Marquise Blair. I feel terrible. I like Blair. I wanted to see what he could do this year. Now we're not going to find out, so I'm super bummed about that. So yeah, messy first half, but because we have a talent advantage, we're able to keep the game tied at half. I was kind of amazed. Like, when you play a Belichick team and you make this many mistakes, the stupid pick six, the stupid drive-killing penalties, the stupid give-up plays, punting the ball on 4th and short in New England territory, you usually don't win. And yet, in the second half, there we were with a 2-score lead with 4 minutes left. And yet, we almost blew the game. So, okay, that's the offense for you. Offensive line, they blocked okay. The offensive line blocked okay. I'm going to go ahead and give them a meh after this game. I thought they blocked okay. Run blocking solid. Pass blocking was okay. Penalties, though. We had 5-6 penalties on our offensive line. That needs to stop. Like, at a certain point, when you're, Damian Lewis, you got to let your guy go. Wilson can make people miss. It's okay. I will take Wilson trying to make a defensive lineman miss. Okay, so that's your offense. And you better thank God we have those skill position players on the offense outside of Greg Olsen. He can work on the jugs machine this week. You better thank God we have them, because that's all we had today. Because this defense, and this is where this game frustrated me, and I'm sure it frustrated all of you too. Guys, you see the good players. You see the good plays. I'm not saying this defense has a bunch of bad players, but the areas in which this defense has been focused on this offseason is clearly wrong, and it came within a yard of costing us this game today, guys. Before I get into it, shout out to Jamal Adams. He had a very, very up and down game today, but the plays he made were big. He had a sack on third down of Cam, just like he did on Matt Ryan. Had a tackle for loss. Had a couple of hits on the quarterback. Had a couple of big plays in coverage, which we needed. And I will tell you this much. Jamal Adams got beat in coverage like a drum more than a few times in this game. And that was part of the reason why this game was so close at the end. So that was very up and down game for Jamal. I was hoping he was going to have a bigger positive impact, but the big plays he made were necessary. I'll give it up to Ugo Amadi. I thought Ugo came in with Diggs out, with Blair out. I think Flowers may have missed a play. He came in there and did everything he could. And I'm not saying it was perfect, but Ugo Amadi might be the unsung hero of this game. He made several great plays today. 8 tackles, a tackle for loss, and he probably was not expecting to play more than a couple snaps tonight. So shout out to Ugo. Bobby, 8 tackles, got a hit on the QB. I thought he was in there. I thought he made some key plays. Not an amazing Bobby Wagner game, but he made his presence felt. Quentin Dunbar, that first half, I was getting cold on you, Mr. Quentin Dunbar. And then you made that pick, and then you made a couple other good plays in that second half. You made the tackle for loss. I was impressed with what I saw. Lano Hill, clutch on that last play to help stop Cam. And maybe the biggest surprise hero of the game, L.J. Collier, with the first tackle for loss of his career. He had a pass deflection today, which was also nice. He should have had at least 1 sack of Cam Newton, but Cam's tough to bring down. I mean, Jamal Adams had him too, missed him. Jamal Adams had him twice and missed him. So Collier, I may have to call the dogs off a little bit on you, but other than that, guys, what the heck happened today, man? What the heck happened today on this defense? This isn't Matt Ryan. This isn't Julio Jones. I know the Patriots may have a good offense this year, but 23 points and 450 yards almost. Might have been more than 450 yards. And, like, come on. Are you kidding me? 450 yards to a team led by broke Cam Newton. Julian Edelman is their only good receiver. They got nothing at tight end. Running backs, they're down one of their top running backs because James White, had his parents die tonight, I think. Rest in peace. Very, very messed up stuff there, by the way. If you don't know about it, go and look it up. But 450 yards, 1 yard away from blowing a 2-score lead with 4 minutes to play. We were 1 yard away from blowing a 2-score lead with 4 minutes to play. So this defense, I gave them a break for last week. I said, in these circumstances, it's a little understandable, but this defensive line has nothing, guys. This defensive line has nothing going for it. Whole second half of that game, we could not get any pressure on Cam with the defensive line. All the pressure we got was on the blitz with Jamal Adams. And the blitzes we called mostly don't work. So, John, Pete, you're the guys who decided to bring in the defensive linemen that you did this offseason. You own this defensive line, and it was unbelievably bad tonight, especially at the end when we needed it. That last drive is dead if we get 1 sack. Give me 1 sack on that last drive, and we're not even sweating that 1-yard play. Defense, I mean, after 2 games, keeping Ken Norton Jr. looks like a mistake. Keeping, honestly, some of the things we did this offseason to get certain players on defense and lose certain players on defense looks like a mistake. And if this is what I'm seeing, then we may really have to go sign Clay Matthews, and I really didn't want to have to sign Clay Matthews. All right, I think that's all I can say about this game. There was some great stuff out there from this team, but this defense looked like the defense from last year, except worse, and this offense fell back into some of their bad habits with their play calling. All right, I'm out of here. Go Hawks. We're 2-0. Look, at the end of the day, Pete and Ken and John have the rest of this season to try to figure this defense out, but right now this defense cannot stop anybody. You better be ready for Dallas to come in and drop a 50 burger on us. And we may still win. We might drop 60 with the way this offense is playing, but this defensive line is not playing well right now. Could not pressure Cam Newton at all tonight. Some of the stuff that happened tonight, Cam played great. Cam was very accurate. Cam was hitting his receivers. Cam was fitting the ball into tiny little windows. Cam played awesome, but the defensive line can't touch the QB right now. All right, peace out. Go Hawks. I'm going to go live a little later. See you guys there. It's never a dull moment.